You're only a what if away from great holidays. Book now with whatif.com. What if it's Aussie for travel? It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
Good morning, and good morning to you, Dani, Shuey.
Hey, Pete. How are you? You
are on cloud nine.
Well, cloud nine because the Fremantle Football Club had an epic win over the Bulldogs yesterday.
I was at my parents' house picking up little Ollie Bear.
Yes.
Because he stayed there while we went caravanning with the girls over the weekend.
Well, that's what I know you're good that Freo won.
Oh, boy.
But how is your back after a weekend of camping with the kids?
My back, I turned 40 this year.
Yeah.
My back, my neck, and everything else.
My neck,
I've never been this sore. I have never been this sore. Now, you do a lot of caravanning.
Yeah, I honestly think caravanning is quite bougie, if you ask me. You get the plush mattress in there quite often. But
that's true.
It's a man of your structure getting in and out of the little door of the van, up and down, following the kids. It's a different ball game.
I actually got out of bed this morning and I went to walk to the bathroom, and as I'm on my way there, I think I've twinged my hammy.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like,
No.
We've definitely been caravanning
Hey,
this
speaking
weekend.
of hammies.
Yes.
We wait. We hold our breath, the Purple Army.
Please. Oh, Jesus, please.
Let's just hope Luke Jackson, the big man Luke Jackson, the unicorn.
Yes.
Let's just hope it was just a bit of hamstring awareness and
mate.
nothing detrimental, because, geez, that'd be a huge loss for the club leading into gather round and beyond.
Our kids go to a Catholic school, right? And the priest has dropped a couple of hints that he'd like to see me at Mass a little bit more, and I can tell you I'll be praying. I'll be there for the next few weeks praying. Good morning, Father Christian. Yes, I'm here again bright and early, and I'll be coming to the 9 o'clock one as well.
It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
Married at first sight.
Oh, so have you been
God.
up to date with the drama? Can I just fill everyone in?
Yeah, because this is the thing. Like, I was, and then the drama got so high that I was like, I have to walk away from this for a little bit and just take a breather.
Next level bonkers. It's the talk of the town, all right? And because the reunion dinner was on last night.
It was hectic.
Now, I just want to say, though, that the reunion dinner is filmed roughly 4 weeks after the original season wraps.
Yeah.
Okay. So
where they say their final vows and
they
stuff.
say their
right?
final vows. So they haven't seen each other for roughly a month. But let's take it back a little bit, because people may have heard of Jackie and Ryan. They made all the headlines for both of them being crazy.
Toxic,
in the
mate.
relationship. Very toxic relationship.
Absolutely toxic, that relationship
So
between
there
the
was
two
that,
of them.
you know, there was that night where they had to do the intimacy thing and they ended up in a Barney. They were everywhere, Ryan and
but they
Jackie.
were in a Barney most of the time,
Most of
right?
the
Which
time.
is why it was no surprise that they split on their final vows, and she got stuck into him too.
Correct. And then there was another couple, Clint and Lauren. They didn't work out either. So we know Jackie and Ryan had a toxic relationship. We know they split up at vows. Last night at the reunion dinner, Jackie rocks up with Clint, the other guy whose relationship didn't turn out. And Clint, you know, quite well-dressed, quite dapper.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of cash. You know, apparently he's got a mansion in Tasmania.
Mate, he's living in a compound.
The girl who he was matched with, Lauren, she was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
But Ryan, Cray Ryan with Cray Jackie, Ryan's rocked up and he's seen Jackie with Clint and he's fuming.
Yeah, and
He's fuming.
So there was a lot of argy-bargy between the... Now, we got some of the bits of audio from last night's show, and in all of the seasons of Married at First Sight, I do not think I've seen it go to this level, right?
No.
So this was Jackie, right? Have a listen to Jackie getting stuck into Ryan.
There was intent from the start.
There was no intent,
You
Ryan.
said,
I tried.
Oh my
I
God.
tried my off. I
you
literally
tried.
to
Right.
make this relationship work.
Did you now?
I did.
Oh, wow.
I did.
Because yelling.
Honestly, Ryan, I've
All right.
had enough of you.
It ripped my soul out of my chest watching that. I haven't seen that kind of yelling on this show ever.
That is the type of yelling you do when no one else, when national TV isn't filming you and you've really lost your mind.
And now she's the one as well. We've played this audio on the show. Jackie's the one where she's getting stuck into Nine and Endemol Shine for all of the things that she says are wrong that have happened on this season, right? So, and then Clint versus Ryan, you're talking about the Kia going to the Ferrari.
Yeah,
No
so
idea.
the guy that Jackie's now with, Okay, Ryan's evidently annoyed because he thinks there's been some crossover.
Yeah.
Like, had you started texting him and flirting with him before those final vows? He thinks cheating.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing. He
Absolutely.
thinks cheating, and he was quite, strong on that opinion last night on the reunion dinner. But Clint.
Clint's like, I've got you,
He
mate.
has got some swagger.
Yeah.
He has got some swagger.
Have a listen to this.
Mate, whatever Tassie hole you crawl out of, mate, just crawl back into it.
Mate, you live in the western suburbs. Let's not talk anymore. Mate, don't go there. Like, it's not... If you want to have a flex, I'll send you some pictures. Because I'm not in the western suburbs in a one-bedroom house. Jackie's gone from a Kia to a Ferrari.
Have you seen? Have you seen his property?
No.
Like he's.
I'm not in the slightest bit interested.
Well, he's a former golfer.
Yeah, okay.
Right, he's got cash. He lives on a massive property. Massive property.
This is where it gets quite full on, though. Something else happened after all this. So you've got the drama of her moving on with this rich guy and Ryan being annoyed, and then something quite big happens.
A proposal has happened, guys. Virtually overnight, right? So this was... I believe this is... Brooke, is this the audio from the So Dramatic watch party?
Yes, absolutely. So that was last night. They hosted a watch party for the reunion, and this happened.
Right, okay, let's have a listen.
I thought, well, everyone's here. We've got a bunch of new friends, so let's share the conversation that we want to have. From what you've done on screen, you've been an absolute star, and you've been a star in my life, and you're amazing. And I know we've talked about a lot about our future and our future plans. And I know we signed up for Married at First Sight to get married, but we're a lifetime partner. So I've got one question for you.
He proposed.
Now-
Golfer Tassie Mansion proposed to Jackie.
If Ryan had inklings at the reunion
Yeah.
dinner that something had been going on between them, imagine him waking up today to seeing that there's been a proposal now.
Do you know
Right?
what? I don't
Unreal.
doubt that Ryan and Clint and Jackie have got the biggest kahunas ever, right?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
doubt it. To be able to go on national TV and put yourselves out there.
Yep.
But to do this, they said that they're on MAFS last night that they're going to go into business together. They're in
Yeah,
la la la.
yeah.
Their business is clearly influencing because
Absolutely.
they've clearly got a brand deal there with that ring.
Well, did you see it looked like it was a sponsored ring? It was a sponsored ring. Would you have accepted a proposal from someone who came to you with a sponsored ring?
If someone was offering me, if I had nothing to lose,
Yeah.
and my reputation had already been tarnished by going on a show like this
I
and
suppose,
making all
yeah,
these
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
headlines, and someone said $50,000 is yours and we want to do this deal with you,
Yeah.
and I had nothing to lose,
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Then
And
sure,
even if I
why
do
not?
make headlines for breaking up 2 months later, I'll cop it.
Yeah, no, that's a fair
Because I'm
point.
eating nice dinners and sashimi and, riding my private jet. I
Yeah.
don't care.
It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
We had our little camping trip over the weekend.
You
yeah.
did,
Yeah.
and this was the first time you were taking the big rig caravan.
Yeah, it was a big
away
one too.
with a family of so just the four of you went 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. So
Okay.
Ollie Bear stayed with my parents.
Yep.
And did he live it up, mate?
I
That
can
kid.
just imagine.
I actually rang my mum while we were on the way down south, and I could hear him in the background going, "No, can I have another biscuit?" Just he had his feet up, he was kicking it. But
It's funny you say that. Both my kids stayed with Mum yesterday while I was at work for the
Yeah.
Freo and Bulldogs
Bulldogs
game.
clash, yeah.
And same thing. They were so irritable last night, and they
God.
had the worst night's sleep, and they would have been just sugar overloaded.
And does your mum tell you the same lie my mum tells me, where she's like, no, they haven't had any sugar today.
I know.
And there's Ollie getting around with a piece of chocolate cake.
They also came home with 2 new toys. You know those squishmallows, those soft sensory toys that all the kids... They had 2 new ones. And do you know what Mum does to me?
What?
I go, Mum, another one. Why? I get annoyed. And she goes, oh, no, that's it. I bought it for my house. So when they come over...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah. And then
Yeah,
it all
yeah,
ends
yeah.
up at our house.
My God.
So how was your caravan experience?
It got off to a shaky start, not going to lie, because I told you last week that this was our first ever using a caravan.
Yeah.
And you do caravanning, right? You're
Yeah.
the 4-drive adventure show. You do a lot of caravan.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, because the guy who owns the camping company, the caravan company, MDC, he's like, so have you got this? And I said, no, I don't have that. You got this. Like
Yeah.
the car needed a heap of things.
Of course.
And like to the point where I was going to need to get this car into an auto electrician and spend $2,000 to get this stuff done. So I had to call Dad last minute. And we were like, Dad, I need your car. So I had to swap cars. Then I got it to the depot. Getting it out of the depot, the pins at the back that connect all the lights and everything didn't work. So I had to solve all these things before we even got out of the driveway. But look, as far as the caravanning trip, getting it there and everything's concerned, there's not much to tell. We actually did really, really well.
How'd you go reversing it, leveling it?
No, not a problem. I am a reverser from way back. I'm very, very good with that sort of stuff, right? So we reversed it, leveled it, set it all up, all that sort of stuff. And they had ablution blocks there, so we didn't even have to dirty the toilet, right? So, happy days.
That's a game changer because that does cause a few issues in the Shuey household.
Does it really?
Using the toilet in the van, if there's an ablution block, you shouldn't need to use the van. Don't stink it out. If there's a bit of a written rule there that we have to stick by.
Yeah, because it's a small space.
Yeah.
But, we do these funny things to ourselves going caravanning because we're thinking about it yesterday on the long drive home, talking about it with my wife, that we go and we enjoy ourselves, we have a great time, but you spend a lot of time telling the kids off because they traipse crap through the caravan,
It's
right?
a small space.
It is a small space. But not much to write home about. But one thing did happen because we were there at this caravanning spot in Bustleton with the rest of year 4, right? So it was my daughter's year 4 caravanning camping trip. Found out she got a boyfriend over the so we went there. She was single. Like by the time we got down there, and then by the time
She was single.
I know. She was single by the time we got down there, and then by the end of the trip, she had a boyfriend.
Okay, so was said boyfriend's parents there as well?
Yes, they were there
And
as
nice
well.
people?
Lovely people. We get along very,
so
very
we
well.
kind of,
Well,
keep it.
let's call him nobody's good enough for my daughter. Honestly, and but what was really silly?
It's actually very cute.
It's super cute. And what was funny, because we're all parents sort of sitting around, we've had our relationships, we've been through all of this. So we're all just sitting there watching the kids go about navigating all these relationships. Now, by the end of the trip, about a dozen of the kids that were single now had partners.
Can
right?
you stop talking about it like they're in their 30s? Like now single had partners.
I don't know how else to talk about it, right?
It's kiddie
It's
like.
kiddie. I know, little kids, right?
Oh my gosh.
They've all got relationships, but they wouldn't talk to each other. They wouldn't talk to each other. So the girls all spent all this time over here, just like, just talking amongst each other, going, oh, he likes you. Oh, you're now boyfriend and girlfriend. And all the boys spent all of this time over there talking, and they didn't come together. So I was in this weird, tricky spot where I was saying to my daughter, you're too young to have a boyfriend, but at the same time, I was also trying to be a wingman to go, would you go over there and at least bloody talk to him? You know what I mean?
It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
Pete and Kimber's Yay or Nay.
Hello, producer Rami.
Hey, Ram.
Happy Monday. I've got yay and nay for you guys. First one, alternative medicines.
3, 2, 1.
Yay.
When we get sick, do we go reach out for anything that's not a cold and flu tablet?
You'd reach out for a herb, a banana.
Oh,
Bananas are
come
not
on.
herbs. So just to go back to this, I Googled this and banana is actually a fruit, but it's from a herbaceous flowering plant.
You know,
It doesn't mean it's a herb. You couldn't grow bananas next to your parsley and your coriander and your oregano.
You've just buried 5 years of history on this show by outing banana as a fruit and not a herb.
All you had to do was Google.
Well, no, good point, because we do Google it and it does say it's a fruit, but also it's technically a herb. But you're right. We can't use banana as a herb.
Alternative medicines.
Yes.
Yay. I'm not too alternative, but I do little things. Like I'll have olive leaf extract every morning.
Oh.
I'll have 4 drops every morning in a little swig
What's
of
that
water
meant to
to
do?
start the day. It's just really good. I think it's good for your immune system.
Is that right?
Yeah, and
Olive
if I
leaf
feel myself getting sick, I'll do, amp up that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I have a
lasagna
sausage and egg McMuffin on the way in every morning.
You're a picture of health.
Really lubes
picture
up
of
the
health.
insides.
Well, maybe we should all take a leaf out of Jessica Simpson's book. So you remember Jessica Simpson?
Yeah.
Naughty's singer.
Yes,
she's
yes.
still around. Big. I think she's got like $1 billion. She's worth $1 billion now with a makeup brand or something. Anyways, so she was going to perform on stage and her voice wasn't doing what it needed to do. So a vocal coach suggested something with a particular ingredient in this medicine she gave her. What do you think she had?
Oh, see, I'm thinking honey, ginger, lemon,
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking something a lot worse.
A bit more spicy.
Maybe sounds like a naval term.
Press play on the audio.
All right.
It's this Chinese herb thing, and I'm like, I don't know. And my vocal coach told me to drink it, and they Googled the ingredients and snake sperm.
No, is it like tea?
It's like a honey. So if you want a good vocal, you got to drink snake sperm.
I knew it.
Snake sperm.
They don't have sperm.
Yes, they do.
They don't.
Are you going to Google
Yes,
that
they
now
do.
as well?
They absolutely do. You can't.
Yes, they lay
can't
eggs.
reproduce
To
without
not get too visual.
Right.
How do snakes mate?
Well,
I
there's a
don't
male
know.
snake.
I've never
But
seen
look
it.
think of a snake's body.
But they get
It's
around
got an
each other.
appendage.
Haven't you seen the dance of two snakes? Have you ever seen two snakes dancing?
No, I hate snakes. I would never look at it.
So
I
what do you-
wouldn't want to Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yes, they do.
Learn
They all
something new every day,
reproduce.
Ron.
That is all we have time for today.
It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
Last week on the show, Dani, we
Yes.
announced that we are giving people another wedding, a couple, another chance at getting married on this show.
Yeah, this is so much fun. You get to pick the wedding for them.
It's the wedding you built, guys, right? Now, we did this a couple of years ago where everything to do with the wedding was up for choice to our people listening.
You've got to be
Right?
very relaxed, people.
Yeah, you do.
To allow this to go ahead.
Just head to peteandkimber.com.au for the wedding you built. But we've been talking about all the wedding things, right? And a couple of stories have popped up amongst the team, in particular about how dads go at weddings when you get married. How'd your dad go when it came to you and Luke getting married? All good?
Yeah, Dad was good.
No
Dad,
slip-ups?
Dad, no slip-ups. His speech, I think he got a little bit lost for words. He's
Right.
not much of a natural, public
Was he
speaker.
emotional giving away his little girl or what?
Yeah, well, actually, we had Ollie, our son, at our wedding. He
Right.
was 14 months old, 13 months old. So when Dad walked me down the aisle, he was holding Ollie and
God.
feeding him blueberries to keep
really?
him calm.
Fantastic.
So it was one of those chilled kind of vibes,
Yeah.
but it was all right.
I'm looking forward to the day I get to give my girls away. Though I've been told I
Oh,
need to
you are
sharpen...
going to be a sobbing.
I
You are going to be a
will.
sobbing mess.
Yeah, I will. And I've been told I need to sharpen up my speech as a dad giving
Yeah,
away
yeah.
his kids because my groom speech went for 34 minutes.
34 minutes.
I've never watched it back. I've never, ever been
Hey,
game enough to watch because
why?
I wrote it at 3 o'clock in the morning that morning and I didn't have time to do any edits over it and it went for 34 minutes and I embellished and everything. I thanked every person in the room. We had 140 odd guests. So stupid.
Even your third cousin's boyfriend that she's
Mate.
just met. Do you know what, Peter? You're a good guy.
Actually, honestly, one of these days I reckon the audio will get a run on this show. Look, 131060, what did your dad do at the wedding? Now, producer Brooke, yours absolutely slaps as far as stories are concerned. Tell us about your dad at your wedding.
Yeah, so the music started. I'm about to walk down the aisle and his mobile phone rang on clipped onto his belt, and he answered it. So
No, and how did he answer it? Like, it wasn't just this is the best part because it wasn't just hey mate, listen, I'm walking my daughter down the aisle. Can I call you back?
Oh no, it was very professional. Like he didn't even look at who it was. Like it didn't matter who it was. He was going to answer that phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
my God.
then they had a little chat before he wrapped them up.
Now, as far as walking you down the aisle, how far off were you, like to getting to the front?
I was just about to sort of turn the corner where everyone could see us. But the music was playing. You've got the song, so you're on a bit of a time deadline.
So you were on your way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And he had you on one arm. Did he let go of you to take the
Oh
call?
yeah,
whatever?
walked away.
Just really take the emotion out of the moment.
We've got Rachel. What did your dad
Hey,
do,
Rach.
Rach?
Hi, my dad was wearing a pale grey suit. Someone left some wedding cake on his chair. He sat down on the chair, and of course back then it was only fruit cake. When he stood up, Mum was horrified and she had to peel it off. We have a photo of all their friends standing around watching whilst the fruit cake was peeled off the back of Dad's trousers.
Do you know, I know the exact... Is this the fruit cake that had the hard frosting on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Marzipan.
Marzipan. Yeah. It's an absolute classic. Yep.
Poor bloke.
That was a good start. It was a nice, easy start. Bit of fruitcake on the bum.
Hard to get the stain out
Yeah.
of that pale grey suit.
Kristen, good morning.
Hey,
What'd your
Kristen.
dad do at the wedding?
Good morning, guys. My dad was very excited at my wedding. He was counting down the days, and finally the day came, and he got out on the dance floor and put his back out.
Really? What
Sorry.
does that look like when someone goes out on the dance floor and puts their back out?
Nothing worse. It would have ruined the whole night.
Yeah.
So he was bent over, and he couldn't straighten up. And the worst part was this was before the dad and daughter dance.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. So where did he
Kristen.
stay? Did someone give him some Nurofen? How did it end?
No, he had to go home, so he missed half the wedding.
Oh, no.
He couldn't straighten up, so he couldn't sit there. He was not comfortable.
Kristen. Oh, Narelle. Hey, bring us home, Narelle. What happened with your father-in-law? I love a good father-in-law story. Go on.
Yeah, so it was my father-in-law. He's not with us anymore, bless him, but he actually called me my husband's ex-girlfriend's name 3 times.
On the night of the wedding, he was just coming up to you, calling you. What was it? What was her name, for story's
During
sake?
the speech. Look, it was during the speech. Welcome to the family, Michelle.
During the speech. As long as your husband's not calling it out later on that night,
What a
Narelle, we're okay.
It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
Benny.
Okay.
Your intro
The
for today.
pressure.
all right? Ready to go. Okay. Today's themed because we're doing Alphabucks every half hour. All right. Here's to you, Ben.
Okay, your letter is B for Ben Cousins.
Okay.
Can you name me the newest member of the Pete and Kimber Show?
Ben Cousins.
A former Brownlow medalist.
Ben Cousins.
A West Coast player that moved to Richmond.
Ben Cousins.
The worst tattoo artist in WA.
Oh, Ben Cousins.
Something that rhymes with Schman Schmuzzins.
Ben Cousins.
The only person in the room right now that can do the cha-cha.
Ben Cousins.
A spiritual descendant of William Wallace from Braveheart.
Ben Cousins.
A sausage dog owner.
Ben Cousins.
Someone who's probably really sick of this intro already.
Oh, Ben Cousins.
An adverb.
Pass.
I forgot you can do the cha-cha.
Oh, well.
Can you still remember some of the Dancing with the Stars stuff that you learned? Have you lost it?
I haven't allowed enough time and space to take, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing the cha-cha now, actually. I'm back doing, that's the one I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm relearning it.
I actually wouldn't
Trying
mind
to relearn it the right time.
Wouldn't
the
mind
right way.
actually learning a little bit of a few steps.
Little cha-cha with Benny.
I'm like a baby giraffe on the dance floor, so I'd like to actually have some rhythm
You
and
couldn't
rhyme.
learn it from me, unfortunately.
You go all right. You go all right. Hey, let's see how you dance around this. So we're putting the time on the clock, all right? You're going to have a go today.
Okay, I'm nervous.
For Alphabucks.
Because you always want to help callers out, and now we want to see if you've actually got what it takes.
Pressure.
All right.
Would you like the rules, Ben?
Yes,
You
I
get given
would.
a letter of an alphabet. You got to answer with words that start with that letter. 30 seconds, 10 questions. You win yourself $0, but we want to see if you've got what it
Question,
takes.
Time starts when?
After the first question, mate. All right. Okay, you ready to
I
go?
want you.
Okay, your letter's T for tango. T for tango.
Tango.
You love a
Terrific.
dance?
Terrific.
All right,
Time.
T for tango. Okay, here we go. Question number 1, Ben Cousins. Name a chocolate bar.
Twix.
A musical instrument.
Trumpet.
A noun.
Television.
A female actor.
Actor. Pass.
An African country. Dani Shush.
An African country. Tanzania.
A colour.
Tangerine.
A Disney character.
Tinkerbell.
A dog breed.
We'll take terrier.
How many did he get?
We'll take terrier.
We will
There's a
take
green
terrier.
light on terrier.
Was that 8, producer Army? 7.
That was 7.
Jeez.
Rami's not happy
Is that
with
including
7. That's including
the last one?
Yeah. That's
You
including
sure?
Terrier. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
Is Tina Turner an actress? Well, she would have.
Well, she was in Mad Max. She was in Mad Max back in the day, so yes, I'd take Tina Turner.
Tina Turner is an actor for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd
that's
take
8.
that. Yeah.
You didn't say Tina Turner, though.
Danny, I don't know if you remember.
I
Danny
whispered
said
it to you.
Danny
So it's not 8.
No, it's not
Hey,
8,
that was
right?
pretty good. I'd like to have a turn.
Well, you're going to have a turn tomorrow.
Yes.
All right,
Ah.
so it's your turn
Yes,
tomorrow.
all right.
It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
Dani Shuey from Seven's
Sorry,
footy
Pete.
commentary team
Sorry,
is
Pete.
in for Kimber today. What are you apologising for?
Well, I sometimes talk when my microphone's on.
Yes, that's okay.
I just talk a
all
lot.
good.
It's in my genes.
Now that your microphone is on.
Ben's looking at me going, oh, I know, since I've met you, you haven't shut up.
Saw you do a bit of talking on the footy coverage yesterday, actually,
Yeah,
on
it was
7.
a big game,
It's a massive
Freo
game.
and Bulldogs, and a good game too. You should have heard, you would have been spewing.
I
Pete.
know.
How come you weren't? Oh, because you had the.
I had my daughter's year 4 camp, right? So we were on the way down, and then I wouldn't have made it in time to be able to be there to do the work for the club.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you I was sitting in front of the telly, 310 bounce down, watching everything.
Well, Ben, you were away from yesterday's broadcast too. You had some commitments over East, and I was solo on the boundary. A little bit lost at times.
Did you get a
Normally
hot
I
meal?
ask Ben, every now and then.
This is a good test, actually, because Ben's been making sure you've been getting hot meals. Did you get a hot meal this time around?
Mate.
Did it happen? Please tell me it happened.
It didn't. I actually went to level 1 with the punters and lined up and bought myself some vegetarian nachos.
You're joking.
Really?
Nah,
See,
I
it's
did.
you. It's you, Benny.
I did.
Yeah.
And then
Is
everyone...
that serious? Because I
No.
did get the gentleman who's been responsible for getting me those lovely meals sent me a photo saying you're missing out with a picture of him obviously having the food.
So he
had it. He
that's
goes,
off.
and I thought
Let's start swinging
it's all
this
right.
week.
At least the team is still being looked
Absolutely,
after.
yeah. Clearly not.
Well, I tell you
No.
what, our next game together is Good Friday night footy.
Is that right?
So if I'm not, dining in style, I'll be...
We'll have a little bit of grilled fish.
Yeah, that's it. Good barramundi.
A little bit of snapper.
I think did you just see that? Like a halo just appeared over Ben's head.
What I want to talk about today, guys, is the game, but not really the outcome of it, but one man in particular who's, a lot of attention on him at the moment, and that is Rory Lobb. He used to play for Freo. He now plays for the Bulldogs. He was being booed, and I know, home ground teams do this to a lot of opposition players, but he was being booed quite horrendously.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of audio here.
An extra number, but Lobb.
It's not the right option, Murphy Reid against Lobb. They just lost their way with a bit of the ball moving.
So you can hear that booing. I think it was 42,000 fans in the house yesterday, and that was actually quite tame compared to some of the booing that I heard. And I can tell you there was booing coming from my parents' house in Queen's Park as well.
What are your thoughts on that, Ben, like booing opposition players?
I'm not a booer.
Yeah.
I understand it, and a lot of the good players, like I remember growing up, going to the Eagles games, Buckley would always be booed, but Buckley, he was so good, and it's not the way I operate. I appreciate the good players in opposition sides. I did get a fair bit of it myself as I've travelled around the country, and I did not like it. I didn't.
Did it charge you up?
Yeah, I used to actually think it was, a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, because Andrew Gaff, right, when he had the incident with Andrew
Yeah,
Brayshaw.
so I like it less when it's over things like that.
Yeah.
I really do. But he's playing good footy, Lobby, and you talk about you play good footy and you can just about get away with anything. I saw him during the week. I was over East. And we crossed paths and I said, g'day, and I just out of interest said, mate, he was wearing a hat. I said, that what's under the hat? You still got the blue hair. And I hadn't seen it on social media by this stage. He took the hat off and he had the lobster on. I go... he's playing good footy. You can just about get away with anything. But I did also think he's going back to Perth to play the old side.
With a lobster on his head.
Yeah, some people respond and that brings out the best in them.
But he's doing it to roll the crowd up. He's getting stuck into the fans. He's buying into the stories. I love it. I absolutely love it.
But in saying that, if you're going to go put a lobster on your head, you've got to back it up, right? And you've got to be playing good footy. That's sometimes where it can get a little bit.
I got to ask this question though. What's his coach saying to him? Is his coach going, do they have enough pull to say don't do silly things like that? Or is he going,
unnecessary
whatever.
attention? Is that what
enjoy,
you mean?
Yeah. Or just enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I think coaches these days are better at appreciating we're all different, and there is individuals that make lots of different individuals that make up a team. There is a common cause, but some guys like to embrace that, and that's who they are. And
Don't get rid of it. I enjoy it. I think as a spectator, and the game's for us, right? I love it.
If we
Keep it
were all
going.
the same, it'd be a pretty boring place.
Exactly,
wouldn't it?
yeah.
Oh, listen to you two.
It's good. Very philosophical
Go get
today.
a lobster on each of your heads tomorrow.
I'm half a chance to do that, actually.
It's Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins.
Live from the Barossa Valley Estate. Tomorrow night, you can watch all the action from 7:30 on Channel 9 and 9 Now. It's Gather Round in the Barossa, and Eddie McGuire joins us. Good morning to you, mate.
Hey, Eddie.
Danny, don't you start, okay? I think this is just because, West Coast are going through a hard time. Do we need to get Shuey's on to just give me an earache and bring back all those memories from 2018 again?
I was about to compliment you, Eddie, and I was about to tell the boys 2018 grand final. Eddie, being the man that he is after the loss that Collingwood had, he went into the West Coast rooms and he hugged Luke. And Luke came home and he said to me, Eddie McGuire's a good bloke.
That's a big effort.
I'm very big on that you get 2 hours to sort out whether you're happy or sad. And the Eagles were fantastic on that day. And it was one of the great grand finals, wasn't it? And,
it was.
Sadly for me, Luke played the game of his life and he's got a Norm Smith and a premiership today. And I've got sweet FA, so there you go.
That's all right.
It can
Hey,
be a cruel game.
Eddie, gather round. It's exciting. Third year it's been in South Australia. We know how successful it is. You'd be looking forward to the week ahead.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. It's worked so well. And, I'm working, if you saw Footy Classified last week, on the draw to get some big events for Western Australia. I want to bring back the State of Origin. I also want to bring mini gather rounds, if you like, to West Australia. I think footy tourism will be massive over there. And when I say mini gather rounds, let's say, for example, Collingwood and Hawthorn come over and play West Coast Eagles and Fremantle, and then the following week they stay over there. All the shows come to town. We flip it. And, the two teams stay over there for a week and play the alternate game and build it up and get these things going, because West Australian footy has been so strong for so long. And, okay, the Eagles are going through a hard time now, but they always bounce back pretty well. Fremantle had a good win over the weekend. And, I think we can do some good things. So, tomorrow night will be massive. Cuz, you like this, mate. I've got Jack Ginnivan coming on just to G up those South Australians.
That'll work. That will work.
Do you reckon, what about if I walk out and just say, why don't we give 3 cheers to the umpires, to the Adelaide Crow supporters?
I've yet to experience a gather round, but I am over during the week, so I am looking forward to it, mate. Yeah.
Oh, mate, we must catch up. I think this is fantastic. I've got Cuz interviewing me after all the years that I've been interviewing Cuz. It's fantastic. So, good on you, mate.
I was Eddie, I was at the game Thursday night, Collingwood-Carlton. And I did notice
or as we call it, mate, good versus evil. Yeah.
And I did feel that the security may have changed or was different or been ramped up since I can remember, actually. But then we found out later that there was a couple of firearms in the company of 2 people that attended. What's your thoughts on all that?
Well, don't muck around with Collingwood supporters. They'll hold people. Hey, we pack a bit of heat when we come to the footy. Well, I am from Broadmeadows. They're from the hood, from where I grew up. Being serious for a second, we can be flippant because nothing happened. But the security system actually worked. It was the human element. And I can understand a little bit. The machine goes off and goes, right, there's 2 big blokes here from Broadmeadows who are carrying heat, and there's probably some student who's getting paid $15 an hour going, I don't know about that one. But what they've done now is the MCG have worked out the human element of it. They went a bit overboard the next game, which we had the big lines for the Richmond game. And but I've been told by Stuart Fox, the head of the MCC, that we'll be back to where it should be again for the next round of football. So what they did is they wanted to make sure that everyone went through, that everyone was tested. It's the only ground in the world where everyone gets tested going in.
And so they're getting tested for what?
They'll go through the security, to find out whether you're carrying something.
Yeah, it will detect that. Yeah.
So they'll have that, and then what happens is the next 2 lines of defence is the physical. Okay, you've got something. Something's gone off. All right, come over here. We've got to pat you down. And they'll have more security rather than just, as I said, some student who's just standing there getting his pocket money working at the MCG. But I think we need to get to the stage where, like in America, you have clear plastic bags. It'll make things quicker to go through. You put all your stuff in, you put your bag up here, they see that, and you go through the machine and you're all clear. And that should be able to get us through. We're going to have the NFL here in September next year.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Well, actually, hang on, Eddie. Now, I want to ask you about this because a few days ago, I heard you speaking about the AFL discussing maybe a move to the grand final date to October.
Yep.
A lot of people up in arms about this discussion.
Why?
Well,
Why?
I think people don't want to see the date moved. It's the one day in September. You know, like there's so much history to it, and I don't know how I feel about it. What are your thoughts?
Well, there's been 28 grand finals in October, by the way. 28.
Has it really?
Beginning of
Yes.
October, though.
The first, couple of days.
No. Slow down. The second week as well. The 1926 grand final, Essendon defeated Collingwood. 100. It was on September 9. It happens.
1926. Ways to dig that
going
one
back.
out.
Well, I'm just telling you, there's plenty of them. I could pull more out if you like.
Yeah.
But my point is this. We have to... Australian rules football is the dominant force in this city, right? And in your city. It's fantastic. But there's opportunity. So if we do this, it means we get State of Origin and we can play it in Perth and do some great things there and reward West Australian football with the games they need to have. It means then that we don't go hard up against the Grand Prix in Melbourne and people go, well, people go to the footy. No, but you can't come down because an airline flight costs you $100,000 to get from Sydney to Melbourne and there's no hotels for the weekend. So why do we need to do that? It used to be the start of April when we started the season. You go through, and if we go back 2 weeks, nothing is on at that stage. Here's the other thing. It means you get clean air against the rugby league or anybody else because nothing's on in those first 2 weeks of October. The ratings go through the roof. Now, Foxtel's no longer owned by an Australian by the name of Rupert Murdoch. It's owned by a bloke, I think he's from Russia, who lives in London, and he's backed by the Saudis. They do not care. They couldn't draw football. So we have to actually be conscious of being in the world game and get the ratings maximised, which means more people watching. Nothing wrong with ratings. That's called success. Put it at the right time. It means if we went into the second week, we'd go into daylight saving. Could you imagine on that particular day in 2026 if it went, the sun sets at 7:32 p.m. in Melbourne that day. Okay, I've checked the Farmer's Almanac.
Eddie.
Time will tell what
research,
the decision.
yeah.
The decision
we
will
can
be
tell.
made in time. Eddie, I'd want to be on your team in a debate any day.
Danny, only if they're scaredy cats. Because if you're not going forward, as Cuz will tell you in football, if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards.
Right, okay. You're not first, you're last. That's right. All right. Hey, Eddie. We got to move on because we've got to get to Alphabucks for $10,000, right? So we're going to leave you to it. But we'll see you tomorrow night.
I used to give $1 million away.
Back in 1926, Eddie, right? That's right. Hey, listen, tomorrow night, Channel 9 and 9 now from 7:30. Gather round in the Barossa. Good on you, mate. Nice to chat.
Thanks,
See you,
Eddie.
Good on you, Danny. And Cuz, we'll catch up over there, mate.
Look forward to it, Eddie.
A
Thank
nice
you.
Barossa red.
See you, buddy.
Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins. 6 to 9 weekdays. You can't miss Pete and Kimber with Ben Cousins. And you can't miss with whatif.com. With loads of accommodation options plus flights, car hire and things to do. Book your trip at whatif.com or download the What If app. What if it's Aussie for travel.